And we are going live on Facebook now. Setting up your webinar for Facebook Live, redirecting. I think we are live, but I am not 100% sure. Kate, can you confirm or deny the truth of that statement?
Yeah, I'm refreshing. Oh yeah, we're live. We are live, folks. Yes, we are.
Fantastic.
I don't know what I did, but I just lost the whole thing. Just wait for me, okay? I'm trying to figure out. Mike, Mayday. Oh, whew, I figured it out.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. Looks like we've got a few people that are joining us already. Welcome to our next installment of Lunch with Lucy. So glad you were able to join us. Please chat to us and tell us where you're from, what office you work in, and where you're located. It'd be great to know who's joining us and where from around the country.
Yeah, that would be great to know.
Would be good to know.
If you can just let us know what company and city you are from, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Lucy, where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey. I'm a New Jersey girl with a New Jersey accent.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
And I am sitting in our home office in Rosemont, Illinois, which is just a stone's throw from O'Hare Airport and a long stone's throw from downtown Chicago. Larendee, where are you? I don't even know where you call home these now.
I also call New Jersey home.
Excellent.
So about 40 miles, 40-minute drive from the city, downtown New York City, and New Jersey. And I noticed we had someone saying that they were joining us from Florida. So we've got the East Coast and kind of Middle America covered so far as best we can tell.
Yeah, we'd love to know where everybody else is from. Bob, Katrina, Elena, Megan, Nancy, tell us where you're joining us from. I did, speaking of New Jersey, I watched Springsteen on Broadway.
Oh, how was that?
Great special. I'm a Springsteen fan, so I loved it. But I think it was entertaining, probably even if you aren't a Springsteen fan. But it was good. And of course, New Jersey. The funniest line was how when he was a kid, he couldn't wait to get out of there. Left early, never looking back, hitting the road. And now he lives 10 minutes from where he grew up.
Interesting.
Which is great. Elena is calling in from Riverdale.
Riverdale. Yeah, thank you, Elena.
Great to have you guys here.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen.
Hopefully, I'm presenting the PowerPoint slide deck. If you can't see that, please let me know.
No, you're all good, Mike.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we have more participants than two. Let us know where you're from and what company you are from.
Yeah, Definitely. And thanks for joining us. And let us know what you're having for lunch. Somebody said, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and they're like, so let me get this straight. Lucy's the only one that has lunch? Or how does that work? Well, I've never actually had lunch while I've been on the Lunch with Lucy, but it's probably a lot more conducive for you all to have lunch while we're doing this than it is. Linda says she's having seafood. That's great.
That sounds really wonderful.
Bob, thank you for joining us. We did a really awesome video for Bob last year where he was playing pool in a bar. He was a professional realtor, a golfer, and a billiard player, right, Bob? So that was a fun event we had when we did that video for you.
I thought you were going to say professional pool shark. I really thought that's how you were going to end that.
Right.
Like, wow, that's so cool. My sister-in-law is dating a professional poker player.
Really?
Yeah.
That's intriguing.
And I've not tried to play poker with him yet. I'm not going to do that. Mark, welcome. Mark's also from Chicago. Great to have you on, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what you're having for lunch today. Hopefully Chicago-style pizza or a hot dog, Chicago-style. Those would be acceptable answers.
All the time I traveled to Chicago, I really didn't visit anything. I didn't see anything but the cafeteria downstairs. So as soon as we are allowed to travel, I'm going to explore Chicago, and I will try Chicago pizza in Chicago, not in New York.
Yes, the Chicago deep dish. You must have it, Lucy. It's very different than New York style pizza.
I kind of like New York style. I like the crispy thin crust. So that's my.
And the Chicago dog.
Mm-hmm.
We put a lot of stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to give everybody another minute before we get started. As you probably have figured out, you're on mute, but we want to hear from you. And you can do that by chatting to us in the Zoom window. And as we are going through this, we're also going to be asking you if you've got any questions. Be sure to ask them in the Q&A. You can certainly send those in chat as well. It really doesn't matter too much. We've got a good group, but it's not a huge group, so it won't be too hard. I did launch our first of many polls as we go through our session today over the next kind of 30 minutes. I'm going to be asking you guys to do some work for me. Just answer a few polls. Helps us understand kind of where you're coming from. Gives some color as we go through this in terms of what you guys are thinking and how you're feeling about different things. So the first one is just, why did you join us, right? Want to know what it is you're looking to get out of our session today, spending the next 30, 35 minutes with us. So we certainly appreciate that. All right, nobody else was brave enough to tell me what they're having for lunch. Maybe nobody else is eating lunch. Has that gone the way of the commute? It's gone now.
I already had my lunch. I made sure I have my lunch before lunch with Lucy, because otherwise I won't have one. So I had cold borscht.
Oh,
Russian
I love
style.
borscht.
Yes.
Did you make it yourself?
Well, semi. So we buy one from the Russian store, and then we add more of the bits to it, and then you add the sour cream and the dill and the cucumber and green onion, all that stuff.
Interesting. All right. Bob's having potato chips and dip. That sounds like a lunch that I would have. Carolyn is having toasted sourdough bread with tuna and pickles. That sounds really good.
That
Carolyn.
is nice. Woo.
I hope you brought enough for everybody. All right, let's go ahead. I think we're at that time. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Mike Montgomery. I'm the Senior Vice President of Business Development here at VHT Studios. I want to thank everybody for attending our Lunch with Lucy. This is a semi-monthly series that we have. Lucy talks with industry experts and folks who we think can share useful information with our clients and friends. And we hope you get a lot out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome you all officially via the slide that's now up. And really excited and happy to introduce my friend Lucy Edwards, who is our Director of Client Success. Lucy joined our team last fall. She is a dynamo and a powerhouse, and I'm so excited to be able to work with her in general and definitely to present these Lunch with Lucy series. So good afternoon, Lucy.
Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be here and very excited. And thank you so much for joining us for Lunch with Lucy.
You want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Lucy?
Well, I've been in the real estate industry for about 20 years, had my own company. I joined VHT, and a lot of you know me. If you do know me, you know me from Edwards or VZ Edwards. I joined VHT in the fall, and it's the best and the final move I am making. So it is very exciting. I love my new position, and I create a lot of videos. I invite you to visit vht.com/learn. I put my heart and my soul and all my energy in those videos about floor plans and photography and everything you can possibly think. My goal in life is to make sure that every property has a marketing strategy. And I just love talking to agents about their listings. I view it from Google Maps, from previous photos, and create the ideas and the stories and fairy tales about every house, because every house has the story and every property deserves a professional marketing strategy. So that's all I'm about today. And today's guest is a very special person. She is absolutely wonderful. And so are we going to the next slide? I'm sorry. Yep, here we go. Larendee Roos. So she's CEO and founder of Roos Advisors. So Mike, is that your slide? I'm sorry, I'm jumping into your shoes.
Nope, you're good. I just noticed we misspelled Larendee's last name on the top of the slide. So
yeah, sorry about
that. Apologize for that, Larendee.
Yeah.
No worries. It's congruent with what we're talking about today. So it's all good.
Good.
And Larendee is, she Book Yourself Elite Certified Coach, DISC Certified Workplace Facilitator, and Licensed Hypnotherapist. I'm sorry, I'm from Russia, so I'm allowed to take my time and misspell things. Ordained ministerial counselor. So that is something that we are going to talk about throughout our Lunch with Lucy. And Larendee is going to describe more about herself. She also has her 30-year degree in psychology. She also in executive management, and her training in strategic intervention to bring about positive professional and personal transformation. So that is amazing. That's what you are all about. And now we spelled it right. So here we go. And also Larendee is a Book Yourself Elite Certified Coach, DISC Certified Workplace Facilitator, and Licensed Hypnotherapist. And I'm going to pronounce it one more time. Ordained Ministerial Counselor. Here we go. So on top of Roos Advisors, she is the true founder of the Miracle Activation Center that holds the Spirit to Spirit Real Weekly Interview Series. Additionally, she is the founder and the co-host of the Work With Me podcast, discussing leadership solutions for business and life. So now, Larendee, if you don't mind, please pronounce that properly.
The ordained ministerial counselor or the hypnotherapist?
Both.
Okay. And there's plenty of room at Roos Advisors and at the Miracle Activation Center and all of those things you described. So it's fine that we said Larendee Room. I think it's always entertaining and we love to have fun. So that was a great way to start having fun today for lunch.
Thank you. That's kind of you.
Yeah, plenty room for fun, that's for sure. Sorry to butcher your profession there.
No, absolutely no worries at all.
Larendee, tell us a little bit about the company and who you work with.
Of course. Thank you so much. So first of all, let me just acknowledge and thank you, Lucy, for hosting, and thank you, Mike, for emceeing and putting this all together. I'm really honored to be on the platform with you. So since 2003, in 2003, I left my position with the second largest self-storage company in the US, a company by the name of Extra Space Storage, second only to Public Storage. They are now a $12 billion real estate investment trust company. So I left them in 2003, just before they went public. And since then, I have successfully served small to mid-sized company owners and executives providing strategy, leadership, and practical tactical solutions for operations, sales and marketing, human resource recruitment, education, and retention. And what we like to say that we do in a nutshell is that we offer a wide range of solutions across the entire business life cycle, from, like I said, sales and operations, marketing, leadership development, and human resources. So that's who we are, and that's what we do every day. And we really pinch ourselves, quite frankly, Lucy and Mike, we pinch ourselves every day because we really are so honored to do the work and stand in service the way we do.
That's fabulous. That's a lot of grounds to cover. How you expand the business and spread the wings.
Well, you know, Lucy, what I always tell, I have a very dear friend. She was actually my very first consulting client, and she's I believe 4.0 ranked tennis player, so she plays a lot of tennis. I have friends who play golf, and so they ask me, you know, how do you do all of this that you do? How do you have these different businesses and passions? And I just let them know that I don't play golf and I don't play tennis. So I just play with humans.
which is very challenging sometimes, right? Yeah. But that's why you have 30. That's why you are 30-year veteran in psychology. So here we go.
Yeah. Psychology, that's exactly right. Because at the end of the day, we really believe, and I've believed this for my 30+ years in management, that the people are our most important asset, even in the real estate world, my friends. And so when we can seek first to understand and then to be understood, this is the way we can build really strong, powerful, cohesive teams that help make a mark for ourselves, for our communities, and the world. So that's really what we do, is we partner with our clients so that we can draw on their strengths and enhance those, while giving them the courage to confront their challenges with practical, tactical solutions.
And I strongly believe in relationships. Once you start building the relationship with your clients and with your partners, you invest your energy, and it's such a positive experience, I think. And it all, the base of it is the relationship. And that's what you are doing by talking to your clients, by creating strategies for them, as you also build relationship with them, right?
It's really true, Lucy. What we found is that the teams that you work with every day, whether it's in your internal customers, your employees, your team members, the management staff, as well as your external clients and customers, they desire leadership. And what do I need to do next? And so what we help companies and brokerages and agencies and agents do is to really get very keyed in and tune with who you are, what you're wanting to do in the world, and then connect on that same level with those that you stand in service with, so that you really can have productive, profitable teams that are helping you make a difference in the world, and that they, in the way that you want to show up.
Great. So we're going to the next slide, and next topic that is actually continuation of the previous one. That you have, what are the 3 big ideas you would like to share with our audience today?
Thank you, Lucy. What we would like to talk about today is, at Roos Advisors, we are in the business of helping the C-suite executives and business owners and the team members that support the organization. And so we want to talk a little bit more about how we do that. We want to help you discover who you are, what you stand for, so that you can help find the people that you're meant to stand in service of. And I really believe in this one, so powerfully, Lucy, because when I really discovered this for myself, it changed everything for me in such a powerful way. And then finally, we want to talk about everything you need to know is already within you, whether you're looking at your business or your life or your team. And so what we love to do is help walk with you to help you discover those answers and that innate wisdom that is within you. So we're going to help you look at how you can show up through, as a C-suite, a business owner, or as an individual, and then help you know who you are, what you stand for, and then really connecting into that innate wisdom and knowledge that's already within you.
That is great. I strongly believe that everything you read and you are fascinated about and you really enjoy it and you can see yourself in it, it's in a way to support what you are all about and what you already know about yourself. You just need the confirmation from someone else that yes, you are awesome, yes, you are great, yes, you can do it. And everything that is hidden inside of you kind of jumps out. So what you are doing right now and what you are doing with your clients and your friends and your partners, actually in a way, is letting them kind of find it within themselves and feel so comfortable about it, and then bring it to life and bring it to use and feel positive and great about what's happening every day. That's what I hear.
That's exactly right, Lucy. And I haven't heard that put exactly that way, but I believe that's right.
What do you think, Mike? Am I right?
Yeah, it feels right to me. And further to that, I always, just 30 plus years in management, 200 plus, we're at over 250 plus management teams that we've helped now as an executive advisory firm. Now we have enough data to support that. If it resonates with you and it lands with you, it's because deep within you already knew it to be true. And if it doesn't land with you, then you just put it on the shelf because it's not meant for you at that time. So it really resolves a lot of this resistance to growth and change and improvement. So we can just let ourselves off the hook, and it's a better, easier, softer way to be, whether we're talking about a new system for your business, a new mindset, a new target market, whatever the case is. If it lands with you, it's because you're ready for it and you already knew it on some level.
Well, I also think that if you come to it with an open mind, and you allow someone to just sit down with you and criticize you in a way, in a positive way. Here you are, you have a team, and that's what you are missing here. Maybe you are missing an additional administrative assistant, or maybe you're missing a new administrative assistant. Maybe your accounting system that you have in place is not working. Whatever it is, I understand that you sit down, you analyze the business, and you give the guidance how you see it as a outsider and a third party to create that path that will open basically like new adventures. And that is so important. It's important to have an open mind. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's the number one indicator that we look at. So we're going to talk in a few minutes about how do you know who you're meant to serve. And for us, we have a little bit of a criteria that we walk people through to determine if we're the best fit for you. And the number one thing for us is, do you have an open mind that there might be a different way to look at everything about your life and your business? So open-mindedness for us happens to be the number one characteristic that we look for. And then the beautiful thing about where the environment that we live in today, Lucy, and I'm not talking about COVID, I'm talking about the progression of the world and business and systems and humans as we are. is that you have a lot of options and there are many possibilities. So we can sit down and what we do is we sit down and explore about where you are, what's going on, what's going well in your organization, what needs to be enhanced. And then in any given matter, there are literally probably more than 10 possibilities, if not more. So you really still get to be the driver based on looking at a smorgasbord of opportunities and applications to choose from.
That is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Mike, I think we're ready. We're moving along. Here we go. Book Yourself Solid. I would love to know about that program, and I understand that you are Book Yourself Solid certified. So please let us know what is it about.
Absolutely. So I love this program and this methodology because it is what built our organization from me to now an international organization. And every time we look at a new vertical or a new opportunity, we apply the principles of Book Yourself Solid. So just a quick way of looking at this is that the Book Yourself Solid process really is a program which helps you look at, imagine being parachuted into a geography where you know no one. And it is a specific methodology that within 6 to 12 months, you could be booked solid. Whether you are, I like to say, a butcher, baker, candlestick maker, or in this case, a real estate professional or someone who serves the real estate industry. If you already have a team and you want to next level yourself, then we use strategies from Beyond Booked Solid to help you increase revenues anywhere from 35 to 50%. We say an average of 35% because there are those who maybe don't reach that hurdle, but we have many that increase their revenues by more than 50, sometimes even dare say 100%. And so the reason we believe in this system is I opened my consulting firm back in 2003. The purpose and the mission found me. I didn't find it. And from 2003 until 2009, I didn't have a business card. I didn't have a website. I didn't have a brochure. But from me just being authentic and being who I was and helping businesses make a difference, I just kept getting referred over and over again. And in 2009, I decided I needed to start standing in integrity, and I needed a system to help me also be able to get booked solid and beyond booked solid. So I became aware. I went into a bookstore and Michael Port's book, Book Yourself Solid, leaped off the shelf to me, and I read it. And within about a year, I had reached out to Michael Port and said, I want to know more. And as a result, I entered into one of his programs, still a very dear friend today. And like I said, we teach the system because we know it works. And so completely believe in it. And what we like about it is that I had asked Mike to pop into the question, you know, how many people like marketing? And the truth is, whenever I ask that question, I get less than 1 out of 10 people who say they really enjoy it. And Book Yourself Solid is a system that you will love so much that you will, and it's a system that helps you fall in love with marketing again. So you won't even imagine being able to do anything else because you will love it so much. Why? Because it starts with who you are and brings your gifts to the world.
Well, I think marketing, I enjoy marketing. Obviously, I've been in marketing for so many years. I'm embarrassed to say, you might think that I'm older than I am. And I think it is the foundation of any industry, really, if you would like to share it with somebody else. I also have a question. Now, since we're talking about real estate and realtors are storytellers, and they say beautiful stories. They are liaison between the buyer and the seller, and every home has a story. And if you market it properly, and if you have the marketing strategy, you can really relate that story to everybody. What do you think, and how do you incorporate that idea with your clients?
Well, it's one of the reasons I also love real estate. And I spent all of my corporate career in commercial real estate. So, interestingly, every commercial piece of property also has a story, and very often has multiple legs to that story. So in line with that, not only does every piece of real estate have a story, every home, every commercial, every piece of raw land, but so do the people who represent that, the owner, the, you know, who's going to maybe be the seller, the purchaser, and also so does the agent and the brokerage and everyone who touches that property. So one of the things that we help agents and brokerages or people who serve in this industry, or specifically what we're talking about today, is we help you recover and remember who you are, what you stand for, so that you can find the people whose stories have some sense of alignment. And we believe on a cosmic level that those people are waiting for you to stand up and say, I'm willing to stand in service and I'm willing to tell my story. And then they're just waiting for you to raise your hand so that they can find you, because you truly are the best person to be able to help them. And I do have just a couple of examples of that, Lucy. We were working with an agent who wanted to eventually open her own brokerage firm. And this was about 5 years ago. And in the about 9 months that we worked with her, what we really helped her uncover was that she had her own story. And the reason she had become a real estate agent was because she'd had a very transitory life as a child. And so home was something that was really important to her. And she never really felt like she had a home that was a place of sanctuary for her. So we helped her build a brand on finding those people who really looked at their homes as a place of sanctuary too. It was the thing that she didn't have growing up. And she began to help homeowners find their own story around the reason they wanted to find a home. And now she runs a very sizable, roll the clock forward 5 years, I'm so proud of her. She runs a very sizable brokerage firm in New Jersey with multiple agents working with her. We had another example of a real estate agent in Manhattan who had come out of journalism and had been an editor and writer for a lot of publications around travel and art. And so she was really connected to that. So we helped her create a persona around herself. And now she calls herself a real estate artist. And she's an agent who helps people who value art, antiquities, luxury items, to help them find places that they can hang and love and curate their art. So it can come in really interesting, most powerful ways. And in both cases, these women were very connected to their new brand persona because it's who they were anyway. So helping agents and helping service providers find their story is also very key and important.
That is beautiful. Oh, your first story was so beautiful. It's just like very touching. And yeah, so thank you for sharing it with us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And everything you need to know about your business is already in you. And that is something that we already talked about a little bit, where you recognize and you just need that you have those qualities. You just need an encouragement from someone like you, for example. But if you will please take over. Thank you.
Absolutely, Lucy. It's really, how often are we really invited to share who we are? Very often when you go to a one of the networking event, or you open up with a conversation, one of the first things that someone will ask you is, what do you do? And it's rare that we have an opportunity to be invited to a conversation about who am I, what do I stand for, what's important to me. So when we start there, then we're able to help you recognize that in truth, Lucy, everything that you need in order to be successful in this new position that you've been invited to is also within you. And that you don't need to reinvent or recreate yourself. Usually what we find is that you actually need to bring forth the truth of who you are more front and center, and that will then give you the success that you need. So I'm just going to share quickly my own story around that. It was about 6 or 7 years ago, probably closer to 7 years ago. And we had recently we moved to New York City from the West Coast 11 years ago, and we were living right in the heart of Brooklyn. And I saw so much opportunity on the one hand, and yet a lot of scarcity on the other hand. And so it really caused me to do some personal introspection, and working with Michael Port, he began to help me really ask myself the question, Larendee, I understand all the roles you fill as a business owner, as a client, you know, a very sought after client professional to help you walk with your clients. Just a side note, and hold on to your seat, Lucy, I'm a proud mother of 10 children. We have the Brady Bunch Plus story. And I always say I'm uniquely qualified to work with any organization because I raised 10 children with 10 very different personalities and personalities inside of personalities. So there isn't much that I haven't seen. And then I also say the truth of the matter is that they really raised me.
You are a hero. Let me tell you, Larendee, you are a hero.
Well, it makes holidays and a lot of fun. So back to my point, when I really dialed all that back and I set my roles aside and looked at who I am and what I really care for, I really came up with 3 pillars. And one of those was I had a desire, strong desire, and it was innate within me to eradicate spiritual and physical hunger and to be a channel to do that in my lifetime. Number 2 was to bring clarity to any situation. And number 3 was to make the invisible visible. So anyone who felt not seen or not heard, that they would have a platform and a place to really explore and further share their message. So when I began to really key into this and understand this, it's why now I'm a licensed hypnotherapist. It's why now I'm an ordained ministerial counselor, because I needed those titles and those roles to help me further expand and blossom who I already was. So now when I go into organizations, I can bring my fullness and my full expression to that. And the people that we work with would only work with us because it's also something they valued. And if it's not something that they value or that they see as important, then they won't hire us. And that's actually a good thing, because how many of us have been in relationships that weren't quite the right fit and you don't know how to get out of them? Let's figure it out early on, right? We call that in the Book Yourself Solid system, the red rope policy, the filtration system by which I honor actually that I'm not meant to serve everyone. So as I stepped into this, I really began to understand that everything I did need to know was within me. But I'll also tell you, Lucy, since 2009, I've had at least 1, if not 2 coaches walking side by side with me, because I'm also too close to myself. And it's been the exponential 10x difference for me.
And, you know, just again, talking about how you would like to be reinsured, and all of us, I think, have that feeling. Actually, one of the reasons I was, that is a little bit of my story, my latest story. I have lots of stories, but that is my latest one. I wanted to, I was ready to join VHT and give up my own business and do something completely different. I read a book, One Giant Leap by Charles Fishman, and that just created an understanding between myself and myself. I cannot be in my own business and grow. I need something else. I have to accept it. And if I want to have that giant leap, and if I want to see that beautiful future, even at my age, I had to do something completely different and bring myself to a different level and accept certain circumstances in my life, which in the long run is going to make me happy and make me happy again. It will be between Lucy and Lucy. That's how happy I am. And I am so happy. Mike is telling me that my job is the best job at VHT Studios, right, Mike?
I always say that to you, Lucy. It's true.
And I believe it. Yes. So yes, again, about reinsurance, about support and reading the right literature. I think it is all very, very, very helpful.
Right, Lucy, you did something very powerful yourself. You made it for yourself. And for all of those people who are waiting to experience you in a different way, and maybe from a slightly bigger platform that we could have done by yourself, you made a giant leap. And as a result, the rewards for you and for all of the people that you're meant to serve are just waiting. It reminds me of, Mike has a question of, when you think about mentors who have you had in your life. And I have to say that the big leaps I've also made were as a result of me getting out of my own way and allowing other people to help me on that journey. And my first experience was when I was 9 years old. I didn't realize this is what I was doing, but when I was 9, my family, I was raised in a small town, 3,000 people in the entire community in Wyoming. And my family, we took a trip to California and we went to the Redwood National Forest. And imagine going from the plains of Wyoming to the Redwood National Forest and the magnitude of what I witnessed when I stood in that forest and looked at those trees. And that was one of my first inclinations that there was a really big, amazing world out there that I wanted to tap into. And I came from very humble circumstances. My father was a minister who worked 2 jobs plus his pastoral responsibilities. So I knew if I wanted something different for myself, I'd probably have to be pretty instrumental in getting it. So I decided to find a paper route. And my first mentor I ever hired was Mrs. Carey. And Mrs. Carey, I didn't realize I was hiring a mentor at the time, but I remember sitting in her kitchen or in her room and in her office, and she would teach me about how to sell papers, how to deliver the papers in the most efficient way, how to fold them, how to carry the bag so I didn't fatigue, all of these things, how to collect the papers, how to upsell from a weekly to a Sunday paper, or from a Sunday paper to a weekly paper, and how to bring in, say Mrs. Brown gets the Sunday, you're not getting the Sunday, Mrs. Clark, don't you want the Sunday? All of these things. And so every time I've reached out and hired a mentor or someone to walk with me, it's been the exponential differentiator, and being willing to take that risk. Really important. Congratulations, Lucy, for
yes, I congratulate myself every day. I love what I do. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you for your support.
Oh, absolutely.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, now's a great time. If you've got questions for Larendee or for Lucy, please send them in to us. Anything about how Larendee works with clients or what that looks like, questions that maybe you're facing in your own business. We'd love to have those and see if we can help answer them for you.
Well, let me ask you a question, Larendee. How often do you meet with your clients? Do you have like scheduled weekly meetings or monthly meetings? Now, obviously, you cannot. Do you meet in person? Or I understand you have clients throughout the country. You have Utah and Florida and Georgia. So is it like via Zoom? Do you travel under normal circumstances?
Yes, so we have offices in Atlanta, Salt Lake City, New York, New Jersey. We're opening Los Angeles in October. We have an office in France. So we have people like myself in those geographies. Sometimes I do have to travel, but we do a lot of work via Zoom as well. So we were doing Zoom for the last 3 or 4 years. So this isn't a new environment for us, but there is something to be said. And of course, it depends on, the budget of the client. But we do believe there is power in being in the room and in the ethos of what's going on in the organization. So we can do it both ways. And we usually connect with our clients at least every other week, sometimes weekly. It depends on the engagement.
Do you have any kind of reunions?
We do have reunions, and one is due, my friend. We're actually in the process of planning for a fall, and it'll probably be Zoom, where we get together people who've been with us and who are currently working with us. And it's a great opportunity to invite people who may want to work with us as well, to get a flavor of the type of clients that we work with. So, yes.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Please
Looks like
invite us.
we had a question come in. What is the biggest ROI a real estate team will receive by working with you? What's the benefit that they would receive, or how do you help teams in real estate?
I love ROI questions because it's how my brain works. So I come from the psychological perspective, but I love the numbers, and I always look at it like this. And because I grew up in real estate, and I was always on the development and the management side, we would look at the ROI, the internal rates of return, the cash on cost return. So on a very simplistic level, let's talk about cash on cost because it's a pretty easy one. So you always say that by spending a fee with us, we know for sure if we're aligned and we're willing to do whatever it takes and walk hand in hand. And that's the biggest challenge, actually, the biggest resistance is being willing to do whatever we agree that we're going to do, that we can 3 times whatever your investment was. And it's usually within about 6 to 12 months. So on a cash on cost basis, you could count on whatever the investment you make in us, we can 3 times that money.
Terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific. And I know, Larendee, you talk with your clients a lot about what they're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
how they bring that to their work, like the stories that you told about the real estate artist, which I love that phrase. So I'd ask the folks that are in attendance, chat with us, chat with Larendee, what you're passionate about. We're interested to see where your passions lie, whether it's sports or some kind of other hobby or the arts or a certain charity or whatever it is. Now is a terrific time to share that with us.
And I love to hear those. I love to hear those passions. What is that spark within you, Mike? Thank you so much for asking that question.
Yeah. Looks like we've gotten a couple of them.
Okay.
Affordable homes, architecture and design, home for every family.
I think it's so beautiful too. Speaking of home for every family, affordable homes, we do live in a time where that's more possible than it ever was before. And I think we're going to continue to see trends where that's a greater opportunity. No one really feels comfortable with what's going on right now in the world relative to the pandemic, relative to the racial tensions and so forth. But I'm a firm believer, and I think we've lived through enough cycles that when it gets really messy is when the miracles start to show up. And so for those of us who are committed to every family deserves a home, I think one of the things that's going to pivot out of this is a way for that to be a greater possibility.
That's great.
That is great.
We also had one final question. Beyond Book Yourself Solid, tell us your other must-read books for growing a business or for a growing business.
One of my favorite authors, well, I actually have a couple. James Clear is a really bright mind, and he doesn't necessarily come from real estate, but he comes from a sports perspective. Encourage you to check him out. You can subscribe and you can get email letters every week, really powerful. Grant Cardone is one of the new up-and-comers when it comes to real estate specifically, and he's an investor himself, and he's been through the paces, and I love his 10X mentality. He gave language to what I've always believed. So really feel like he's powerful from a leadership perspective. You know, John Maxwell is a very seasoned professional. I think there's no one who speaks leadership more clearly and more easily than, John Maxwell. So any of his books are really powerful as well. Very, very good. And you can read mine. It'll be out probably in about 12 months. So stay tuned.
Lovely.
Yeah, stay tuned.
About raising the 10 kids or?
That one's what my 10 children taught me, but it's at least another 12 months past that. So
okay.
It's tough to know which one do you write about first, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
So please join us again Wednesday, August 5th at 1 p.m. It will be Lunch with Lucy, and we're inviting Bridget Anick. She is she's the real stager, the real staging company. We always talk about virtual staging. Well, that is the real one. And she is amazing, beautiful taste and ideas. She's an artist, 100%. So please join us. It will be fun, and we'll make it fun and exciting.
Larendee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Already, thank you.
Yeah, it was really great to hear your perspective, and I know I gained some nuggets that I'm going to chew on a little bit and think about for myself, and I'm sure everybody did as well.
Yes,
so thank you so much.
Absolutely. And please let us know when the book is out. We'll have a book signing party.
And thank you so much, Mike and Lucy. And I just want to close by saying that, you know, purpose is everyone's always saying, you know, what's my purpose? What is that about? And I would just like to say that purpose is when your passion fuels your dedication to whatever it is, no matter what. And thank you so much for everyone who attended, and just also want to encourage you to, in order to rise to be your best and start loving life, you just need to boldly go where no one else can go as you, and really step into that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and a good week. And we'll see you in August.